Welcome to Disrespectfully
with Katie Maloney
and Dayna Cathan.
Unapologetically,
We're here to do what we want to do.
spilling the tea.
Babe, you're going to see the power of women. Like,
Disrespectfully.
we're back.
We're back.
We're back.
I'm happy to be back here and not at home.
Are you well?
I'm well, relatively speaking. I'm always well.
I mean, we love to see it. I'm at a 25% right now.
25?
Yeah. So
Why?
I'm pretty unwell because I'm an idiot and was out until the wee hours of the morning on Sunday after I had originally planned to go to bed at 8:30. Raleigh was over and was like just hanging out doing laundry. And I was like, how long is this going to take? Because I'd like to go to sleep. And she was like, it's 8:30. And I was like, I know, I'm really tired though. And then she got up to leave and I was like, but where are you going? And her friends were in town from Long Beach and they're a rowdy crew. So we went out and then the bars closed and then they're like, hey, let's go to another party. And then the sun was rising.
I never like to see the sunrise.
Oh, it's dark stuff.
It really is.
Birds were chirping
No,
when we were leaving. And I was like, they're so hostile right now.
no, I don't want to see the sunrise unless I just awoke.
Right. It's a different thing when you're waking up and you're like, this is a refreshing day. It feels like Barbie land. You just get up in the morning and like this.
No, when you've been out all night and then that sun starts creeping up. Yeah.
Dark
Anyways.
stuff.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, it was pretty devastating. I won't be doing that again for quite a while. So I sound bad. I feel bad. But, we're here. I'm so grateful to be back, though.
I know. I wanted to go buck wild this past week after being indoors, just alone. I was like ready to go crazy.
Well, another thing is this weekend, I expected to be more chill because I was in New York last weekend.
Right.
And for Ariana's big debut.
I want to talk about that.
It was
Everything.
so wonderful. But first of all, also New York, it was a very quick trip. So when I'm there, I want to maximize my time. So we did a lot in a very short amount. So I was like, I get home from a trip and I unpack that evening. I always throw my laundry in. I get everything organized. Do you do that?
No, sometimes I do. And I'm always grateful that I do. But most times I don't. And I respect that people do that. But I also think it's kind of insane when people come home from a trip. Like, I'm tired. The fact that people have that kind of energy to do that?
Oh, it's very unhinged behavior. I'm aware, but I don't like to see my suitcase. I literally pop it open, start the laundry, reorganize, and then I usually get in bed.
It does mock you the longer it sits there.
Oh, it was hostile. It was basically heckling me every time I walked in my kitchen. I'm like, why? I don't even like a single dish in the sink. And there's just a whole suitcase and I was just walking over it. So super tired, but the show was amazing. I stayed at Ariana's. So I got to see her in the mornings, like before she was going to rehearsal, and the day of. She was nervous. Like you could feel the tension. And so it was like, I knew she was going to do great, but then waiting to see it actually happen, like you're nervous for them because I knew how nervous she was. But she, right when she got on stage, was flawless, amazing, 10 out of 10. And she told me after that she was like, well, I messed up a few things, but I didn't notice any type of error. So that's definitely just like a her thing of being critical. But like, I think that part of being a performer is to be able to roll with the punches if something goes wrong. And she did it great. When she came out initially, she was on this ladder, pretty high up, I might mind you, like singing, having a good time. And she wasn't attached to anything. And so the whole time I was like, wait, she's just up there. And then another gal did it during the show too. And I was just like, that seems like a recipe for disaster. But she seemed very comfortable.
Wow.
In the sky.
How high are we talking?
I probably missed that day of school as far as being able to measure heights, but I would say it was like 20 feet.
Wow.
Does that sound crazy?
And they don't hook in?
No.
Damn.
I mean, she climbed it in front of us and was just up there. So yeah, she seemed very comfortable very quickly. The crowd was super rowdy. It's obviously a lot of Bravo fans were there and they went apeshit. And someone else who had, because the show's obviously been running for like 20 years, they were saying that they hadn't seen a crowd like that in a while. And I believe it. It was my first Broadway show I've ever.
Wow.
I had never been.
Oh, that's really special.
It was really special. How many have you been to? Would you say?
I would say maybe like 6, 7.
Yeah, I was a virgin. It was the very first time. So I got my first playbill, which I have. Ariana, I'm sorry, I got pizza grease on it when I got home, but I'm still keeping it because it's a relic.
She's on the cover.
She's on the cover, and then I open it, and they have like the cast bios, and she was the first one. I started bawling immediately, and when she came on, I started crying, and it was just like very emotional. And a lot of people, probably 30 people, flew in to support her. So it was.
I know I was not one of them. Well, I mean,
you were missed.
As much as I wanted to, it's like I am trying to minimize my amount of travel because I know I have a lot like coming up and a lot of like probably unexpected travel that's going to pop up. So, and I know I'll probably be going to New York relatively soon. We do a lot of like Watch What Happens Live trips and things like that. So I told her, I was like, I want to come for opening, but I know I'll probably be there like in the next like few weeks that, you know, and she's like, no, I know. And trust me, like, it's not a big deal. She's like, and it'll just get better as it goes on. I'm like, true that. So
she's doing 8 shows a week.
Yeah.
For the next 8 weeks.
Yeah.
She's going to get more comfortable and it's going to be amazing. But yeah, she's thriving.
I know.
It was really wonderful to see. And we walked one morning because I wanted to see the Times Square Olive Garden because I've never paid attention to it. Olive Garden, can you please get over yourself and sponsor us? Like, we love you. Biggest fans. I went there. Her giant billboard with her face on it was right across from the Olive Garden. So I think that God is real.
Serendipitous. I love that.
I think that had something to do with it. So we knew it was going to be a good time. And after we went to a very fun gay bar that reminded me of beaches in WeHo, like kind of gave that energy. And we got a little rowdy and I had to leave for my flight at 8 a.m. And that car ride that was an hour and a half to get to the airport, I get car sick just when I'm sober and thriving. Hungover car ride? Is there anything worse?
Just traveling when you're hungover, period, is like not the ideal at all.
I do have to give a shout out to Sheena because I sat next to her and her mom on the flight back. And technically I was in the middle seat and she did give me the window because I was not doing well and a pillow to like try and sleep.
So you were going to sit between her and her mom? Pardon?
Yeah, it was just like when I booked the flight, it was like a bunch of bad seats. And so I was like, well, I'd rather sit with them.
Well, I'm that bitch that when I travel anyway, especially if I'm going, if it's 3 hours or under, I don't care. But if I'm going to New York, I'm going to sit in first class. With the time change and the length of flight, I have to be comfortable. I can't sleep on a plane, but like I need to at least like try to like make myself cozy.
That's actually one of the things I'm manifesting. I'd like to travel first class just all the time. I'd love it. I will say that morning I looked because I was so unwell. I was like, I will throw any amount of this money at this problem to be able, and we were on JetBlue and
JetBlue Mint is
I wish the flight is longer
so superior,
when I'm in Mint. I'm like, can we do another few laps? It's luxurious in here. And there was nothing available. So I shot myself in the foot. Could have been worse. But yeah, a East Coast to West Coast flight, not doing well.
It's worth it. It's worth the ticket price.
It is worth it. I mean, and it's totally a luxury. But again, it's just like, you got to dream big. And that's where I'd like to be.
If you could arrive at your destination feeling like relaxed, that
refreshed.
you haven't been cramped in a middle seat, just do it.
To Europe, we did the Comfort Plus or whatever, and that for Europe is the bare minimum. Like it worked out. Like our short flights between countries, it was fine, but that, yeah, those long flights.
Yeah, no, it's part of the trip, getting there. So like, why? I don't know. I can't. Yeah. Anyway.
So anyway, I got home. I was drained, and then I had just as bad of an Uber ride home at, to be totally honest, 7 a.m. So it was, birds were chirping, was not having a good time in the backseat. But anyway, we're here, we're thriving, we're COVID free.
It was a big week for Vanderpump. Besides Ariana's Broadway debut, it was also the premiere of Vanderpump Rules season 11.
Congratulations.
It was crazy. I enjoyed the premiere episode.
Highlights. Tell me what you thought about it.
I just think, it was a good sort of like little catch up to see where everyone's at. Obviously, it was like 3-4 months post scandal of it all. So like there's still some like residual stuff there. People trying to figure out how they're feeling about everything. And, I think it was received pretty well. I think people had the right kind of expectations. I don't think they knew what to expect, but I don't think people were like over reaching for anything. So I think most of what I saw, or my direct personal like response, was pretty good.
I thought it was great. I thought it was a great catch up and start to the season. And can we talk about my favorite moment from the episode?
Sure.
Your face.
Oh, the French fry?
As you were eating a French fry when Lala told Ariana she had reached out to Raquel.
Yeah. To be honest, I feel like I was like on another planet during that whole like girls' night scene, because that feel free shot that I had at Tom's when he's like, oh, do you want to try one of these? And I was like, oh, kava root, I always have. Those are not for a faint of heart. that I never had one of those before. Have you ever had?
No, I don't even know what is that?
Kava root. It's like a root, whatever drink, and I think that it's classified as like a nootropic, which is supposed to like make you feel, a lot of people drink it as an alcohol alternative because it's supposed to make you feel light and breezy. I felt like I was swimming in the cosmos. Like I showed up at that girls' dinner and I was like, you guys, I don't know. I feel crazy. So I was like trying just to like stay present, stay engaged, stay whatever. But half the time I was just like kind of giggling. Like felt a little high. Like I felt a little goofy. So like I was there, but I also felt like I was having out of body.
Can you buy it at a regular store?
You can buy it at 7-Eleven.
Maybe we should slam a couple before the next episode and see what
Couple,
happens.
I won't even. I'm like on I'll drink half that thing. The full thing is crazy in my opinion. I don't know. People apparently are getting addicted to them, but
I mean, your blood is 50% Celsius, so that's surprising to me to hear that.
I am just like Celsius personified.
What else did you have for breakfast?
I had Girl Scout cookies.
She brought in Girl Scout cookies like a real angel, and we had those.
What else happened in Vanderpump Rules? Oh, the Toms. The Toms
interview
on the Viall Files. Yeah.
The Viall Files. Our media company owner.
Shit show.
Oh my God. I mean, there's so much to cover on that. So I don't know. You start.
I mean, the first part of it, just Schwartz sitting there apologizing for Tom for being late or possibly not showing. It was just kind of like, this man, this is what he's signed up for. This is what he's hitched his wagon to, is just being a Tom Sandoval apologist. And, I just, to me, it's just really kind of sad, if you will. And then he shows up finally, and throughout the whole thing, he's just kind of making excuses for Tom. Tom, I don't know if you want to say that. I don't know. Like, you're kind of coming across as like you're blaming Ariana, and like, I'm just letting you know that's what you sound like. I'm just like, you guys, when one's burying themselves, the other one's trying to dig each other out, or it's just, I don't know. It's kind of remarkable in ways of just like how it just keeps happening over and over again.
It was, I mean, I guess not shocking because that's how I would predict that an interview such as that would go.
I don't know why I'm constantly surprised, because it's like, did I expect any different? No, but here we are.
But it was shocking. And first of all, I love that Nick kept in Tom's tardiness, because that was unhinged to me. First of all, he made several different excuses, right? He was like, oh, I was up crying last night, so I didn't get any sleep, so I didn't come in. And then he was like, oh, I was hanging out with someone. And then it was, oh, I forgot, whatever. But I'm a psychotically punctual person, particularly if you're going to do an interview on someone else's podcast, you should be respecting their time. So that was nuts. And then he tried to like gaslight Nick and be like, you're 2 hours late for my podcast, man. But you know what? Tom, I'm so glad you did that, because you made the point that everyone drives home is you can't just say, oh my God, I'm so embarrassed. I was wrong. I'm sorry. You have to immediately compare that someone else did that. And Natalie, like a true queen, brought up the receipts and said at 6:52, Nick was heading home and they started recording at 5:30 or something. And the podcast was an hour. So babe, you 2 hours late to even start doesn't work. So you're a silly, silly goose.
How could he have not got there till 8:30 if he was already gone before 7 p.m.? But Nick, even before that, was like, I text you at 4:38 or whatever and said, hey, are we still doing this? I can be there by 5:30. Like, sir?
But also, does it excuse your bad behavior if someone else, let's just say he did do that. There's no reason. Why are you bringing that up? You're late today here.
He loves, like, whenever like someone's bringing the hammer down on him, he's like, okay, well, what about like you're back in 2012? It's like, how about in the now? How about we're talking about today?
What you did.
What you did today. We're not talking about what somebody did 10, 12 years ago.
He's like, remember when you jaywalked in 2002? You're not perfect either.
No one's saying anyone's perfect. We're just trying to get to the bottom of why you're late, dude.
Oh, and he was getting mad. And I'm like, you're getting mad and defensive because you're wrong. And Nick, honestly, masterclass, chef's kiss. He killed it the way he interviewed him. But yeah, it was just like, he is capable of saying like, I was wrong. I know I fucked up. And then Schwartz obviously jumps right in. He's like, he knows he did whatever. And I'm like, I'm sure that he did on some level. However, why are you then bringing up this, that, and the other? Why are you talking about how you were belittled in your relationship? You're a grown man. If you were in a relationship, I wouldn't stay with someone for 5 minutes that made me feel that way. So that was your choice to do that. And then talking about how he was hoping he was looking out for Ariana because how would she do interviews if she was feeling that way? You weren't looking out for Ariana. You wanted the dust to settle when cameras weren't up.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
No, when he started talking about that, I'm like, I genuinely got confused because I was like, what is he on about? When it's her interviews, like this doesn't even make sense. Mr. Accountability, like I like to call him, because he would always scream in people's face, like my face, anyone else's face, about not taking accountability when I've never seen that man be accountable for anything.
He thinks accountability is saying, I know I was wrong, but just like an apology, someone says, I'm sorry, but you made me do that. That is not an apology. That's not accountability.
He's king of the qualifiers. He wants to qualify everything.
Right. That's my point about both him and Rachel. Just say, I'm sorry, point blank, nothing else needs to be said. Nothing else needs to be said. Also, what was with the cake?
Oh, that being his like breaking point?
Why was
the Sweet Lady Jane?
Why? Was that his favorite cake? Was that?
No. Like putting Santa Claus a liar on a cake?
You are a liar.
It was like that. And then like the white nail polish. I think it was like a magazine or something that someone came out about, and he was like really angry about that. Like, of all the things.
I mean, I just think it speaks to.
But then it's just talking about the house, and he's talking about like how like in his parents' divorce, like one of them kept the house, and in Ariana's parents' divorce, one of them kept the house. It's like,
why are you comparing apples to oranges? I know that fruits are hard. I know you don't get it, but it doesn't matter what happened in anyone else's situation. Oh, and Nick asked the best question. He said, do you think you deserve Ariana's reasonableness? And no, what are you talking about? What you did was so inflammatory. It doesn't matter. If she wants, even if that is what she was doing, she wants what's hers, right? She wants to be paid out properly. Like, that's not it. But even if she was just being petty, you're going to have to let her be petty. That is it. Oh, and then he was even like basically saying that she capitalized on the situation, whatever. And like, yeah, something awful happened to her and a lot of good came out of it for her. Great.
Was she supposed to say like, no, I think I've already taken enough. I'm going to start saying no to things. Like, are you insane? If the roles were reversed, I can only imagine how insane he would be.
That really gets me, the way that he thinks that he deserves that. And then he'll be like, well, he was like, no, I guess not. And then he was like, well, yeah, I think she needs to be a little reasonable. And it's like, no, she doesn't. She doesn't owe you shit.
And it's not like she's like, instead lighting the house on fire and saying, well, none of us get it. It's like, she's trying to go about it in a way that's like fair and like being like, no, we're going to sell it and have it go through the proper channels of like that kind of division.
And also, like, I don't totally understand why he even wants to stay there, because it's filled with such good memes for you. It's filled with the batteries that you bought and all the paper towels, and that's hard to move.
No, because he like put a gym in.
Your tonal, I'm sure it is. I'm sure it's portable. Sure, you can take the tonal with you.
You can take all that out and put it somewhere else. None of it's permanent. I don't understand it. I just feel like it's because he just like doesn't want to like be bothered.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like Ariana wants to be bothered. Like
right.
It's not about you. And like he just the way he just continues to act like all of this is so unfair and it's all things that are like happening to him and not because of him is like the insane thing to me.
Tom thinks he's a victim? Are you he thinks things are about him?
Yeah.
That doesn't sound like him.
But and then he wants to go on and say that Ariana should just like move on with life. Like just like don't worry about me. It's like not a good look. I'm like, sir, she is so unconcerned about you.
She's not worried about you. What are you talking about? She's literally starring on a Broadway show.
She does not talk about you. She doesn't talk about what happened. Like she's the last person to bring up any of this. She tries to avoid it at any cost. Like she has moved on, is moving on. You bring people on your podcast to talk about this every week. I would say you're the one that needs to move on. And you're the one that's the bad look right now.
People were kind of like butthurt. I've seen that even when we talked about Rachel's podcast, and it's like, yeah, but they're keeping it relevant. You guys are making that your whole personality. That's your entire podcast, at least what I've seen on TikTok. And it's just like, if you don't want people talking about it and moving on, then why are you doing that? Because people are going to have opinions and have things to say about it.
We talked about it before it even came out. So like there wasn't like, we just heard that she was doing one and that was it. It came out like, I think right before that, our podcast came out. Right. But that day that we were talking about it hadn't even come out yet. So like we
all we were discussing is that it was a pretty kooky idea. So I don't know. I just think, yeah, if you don't want something continually discussed and you feel like you're beating a dead horse, then
Stop talking about it.
perhaps shut the fuck up. You got options?
Yep.
Maybe set an alarm next time so you can wake up before 2 p.m. to hit a podcast. But honestly, super entertaining. So I'm really glad they did that. I will say, I do want to say something positive about Schwartz. I really love the way he talks about you.
Oh, when he called me a hater?
Okay. For most part, he talks about you. And even that, I feel like he was trying to say it in a positive way. But he was like, you can just tell he holds you in very high regard and that he loves you. And I think that's lovely.
Well, as he should.
What's not to
no,
love?
I think his choice of words were bad, and that was corrected in a way. It's like, yeah, no, I have opinions. I'm not a hater. Which you can be judgmental. No, it's called having opinions. Can I be judgy at times? Yeah. Can I be a hater at times? Yeah, but I'm not those things. I can be. Being
judgmental is the human condition. We're all a little judgmental. And if you say you're not, you're full of shit.
It's the human condition because that was something as being, if we looked at as animals, that is our defense. It is how we protect ourselves, by judging and sizing up people. So like that is just, it is kind of natural to just be judgmental.
Yeah, the cavemen didn't walk out of their little crib and go up to a lion and be like, you seem like you need a hug. Like there's a judgment call there.
But Tom Schwartz would.
Oh, he would. He would.
So I'm just thinking that because he doesn't operate in that way ever in his life. He just cannot understand that it's practically normal.
And look, I do think obviously there's an unhealthy amount of gossip, or if that's really someone's whole personality and all they ever have to contribute, bad. But gossiping is sometimes delightful. I'm sorry, you want to have some wine with your friends and you're having a little goss session. We all do it. Don't act like you're above it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for the most part, I wouldn't consider myself judgmental, but have I been judgmental? Yeah. And it's also having an opinion. They love that trope for women. If you have an opinion, you're judgmental. Something else I've seen a lot is like, people think we hate men because of opinions we have had on men that have been bad or bad behavior. Like, what are your thoughts on that?
That we hate men? No, I don't hate men. I hate the way certain individuals have treated myself or you. It's not a blanket statement about all men. It's just, I'm sorry, but like categorically, men are terrible.
What does your shirt say right now?
It says boys lie. There's an entire brand created about the fact that like dudes can fucking suck. I wish men would get their shit together. I don't hate men, but like I don't know why it's been a pattern of bad behavior that's predictable at times because y'all just keep doing the same shit over and over again.
Also, I would say if you are a man that is triggered by the things that we say about men who are continually having bad behavior, you're probably someone that falls in that category. I do not hate men at all. It's like what Cher said. She's like, I don't hate men. I think men are the coolest. Like if you're a good person in general, I'm probably going to like you. But yeah, do I not fuck with the patriarchy? Sure. Do I not fuck with a system that is designed to oppress certain groups of people? Yeah, absolutely. But I don't hate men. And if you feel that way, you're probably triggered in some way and you're probably terrible. You're probably the guy at the bar that won't take no for an answer. Is there anything that bothers me more?
Oh God. See, but that's what I mean and I'm not saying that like there's not all, on the other hand, terrible women, because there are, but if we're ever coming down on dudes and speaking poorly, it's because of those very things. But no, I love men, and I know some wonderful guys out there like that have been great and treated me great and have great behavior and have been raised right and continue to do so.
Another thing I would say, if you're not someone that gets triggered, but you're a man who co-signs on your friends, the people in your life, males that have bad behavior or do bad things, you're also part of the problem. It's like always a see something, say something. There's nothing, again, back to that thing at the bar when the guy's friends aren't the ones saying like, hey, she just said no 5 times, please stop.
Yeah.
Why aren't you the one saying that?
Or yeah, you're probably just not listening to what we're saying, and you're just hearing like, you're being like, oh, this just sounds like you hate men. No, why don't you actually listen to what we're saying?
Men don't listen? There's men that don't listen?
I know. Well, that's another issue. If you would actually just take a moment, remove the ego, and just like listen to exactly what we're saying. It's not about like, oh, you hate men. It's like, oh, these patterns of behavior are the problem and they continue. So that's what it's about.
Point blank period. We don't hate men. So
yeah,
stop.
All of that to say we don't hate
men.
We
don't hate men.
So if you were not listening because you probably weren't, just listen to this. We don't hate men.
Let's talk about one of our favorite topics. Let's talk about skincare. Is there anything worse than when you're not feeling good about your skin? That's so hard.
No, I hate it.
A lot of women experience this. I was on birth control for a long time and I went off it and I broke out so crazy for almost a year. And it's like really affects your confidence.
But also just like right now with just like my skin texture and like fine lines coming, I'm just like, what is happening? Like skin in general. I just want to have that like baby porcelain baby skin. And that's where Apostrophe comes into the picture. Well, we talk a lot about self-love on the show, and one of the best forms of self-love is taking care of your skin so you can feel good on the inside and out. And that's why we are excited to talk about Apostrophe.
Apostrophe's goal is to help you feel confident in your own skin, whether you're dealing with breakouts, signs of aging, acne scarring. Apostrophe will help you love the skin you're in. I decided to use Apostrophe for fine lines.
Same. And just like texture of skin. I think those go hand in hand, but like I want that smooth.
I just want my skin to be as hot as possible. It's very important to me.
Sexy skin.
Sexy skin. You have access to a dermatology team. It's a tailored treatment plan and it's super simple to get through the steps to get your plan.
Apostrophe is an online platform that connects you with an expert dermatology team to get customized acne treatment for your unique skin. And through Apostrophe, you can get access to oral and topical medications that use clinically proven ingredients to help clear acne.
Simply fill out an online consultation about your skincare goals and your medical history. Then you snap a few selfies, which obviously we all have 1,000 of those on our phone, and a dermatology provider will create a customized treatment plan just for you. Apostrophe offers access to prescription treatments for all types of acne, for hormonal acne to facial acne, even back, chest, and butt acne, treats breakouts from head to toe.
Yeah, the consultation was really incredibly convenient and simple to use. Apostrophe connected me with dermatology providers who provided expert care for my skin.
We have a special deal for our audience. Get your first visit for only $5 at apostrophe.com/disrespectfully. When you use our code disrespectfully, that's a savings of $15. This code is only available to our listeners.
To get started, just go to apostrophe.com/disrespectfully. That's DISRESPECTFULLY and click Get Started to use our code disrespectfully at sign up, and you'll get your first visit for only $5. Thank you, Apostrophe, for sponsoring this episode.
Love ya.
I think also men can be triggered by independent women and the fact that they can stand up for themselves, have opinions, take care of themselves. So I don't think as a result or as a response to that, a lot of women are kind of moving into their soft girl era. I think a lot of women move into that era because they just want to make life easier for themselves. I know I would love to be more in my soft girl era just to take the stress of everyday life off myself. But it's not easy out in these streets to be a soft girl.
No, it's not. And something actually really frustrates me about that because in my life personally, I haven't had that option. I have not had that luxury. I've been on my own since my early adult life. I've had no one to fall back on. I've been through a lot. I've also, from a relationship standpoint, have made so many bad decisions because I didn't understand how the trauma that I experienced in my childhood informed the partners that I was picking and the chaos I was going after. So I've done a lot of work on myself in the past few years. And I do feel like this is the first time that I'm trying to bring the cortisol down and allow myself to be in my soft girl era. But it is, I'm like, how to do soft. Help.
Well, someone said moving into your soft girl era doesn't feel soft at first. Like it feels, I don't know.
It's uncomfortable because you're used to having to have your guard up at all times. Like when you feel like you have to watch your back and you can't relax, which I'm pretty sure is a lyric from Complicated.
Yeah.
Did I just quote Avril Lavigne? That was an accident. But it's crazy how challenging that is for some people. And I do want to find that. And I am personally working on it. I think that I'm always going to have independence and that side of myself, but I would just like my feminine, softer side to be able to coexist more comfortably.
100%. But for men that don't understand it, it's like, well, I don't mean this as an attack, but if you were more in your masculine, sorry.
She said the quiet part out loud.
I said the quiet part out loud, but if you were more in your masculine, imagine how much easier it'd be for us to be in our feminine. There can't be two princesses in this party.
What a concept. What a concept. And even for women, though, it's funny because I really crave that masculine energy. I want to be able to relax. It doesn't mean I'm going to mooch off someone or anything. It's two different. And a lot of them, I think that's why they get mad because they assume that's what that means.
It's about emotional safety. It's about feeling that you can just be safe in the space, not taken care of in different ways, but we're not talking financially. We're not talking about that. We're talking about just feeling that kind of release where you're just like, I don't need to be on guard. I don't need to be just tough all the time.
Well, it requires a little EQ on the other person's part. And sometimes that's a challenge.
Sometimes.
You got to be emotionally intelligent to understand that. And also it's like with attachment styles, I'm an anxious avoidant. I always talk about the book Attached. Read it if you're having problems in relationships. I think avoidant people get a bad rap a lot because they're also suffering and having a hard time. They crave closeness, but they can't actually reach it because it's too hard for them. So I don't necessarily think they're inherently bad, but they are oftentimes a lot of the people that will lead someone on and push them away. And so it's like we're living in a generation of so many traumatized women by lying, cheating, leading on, and then it makes them harden and harden and harden over time. And it's like, yeah, if you guys want us to come to the table with that, perhaps you should be kinder, lead with honesty, do the work on yourself to understand what you are capable of in a relationship, because no one is going to fault you if you aren't able to commit or like really be there if you're open about that.
Right. You don't need to trick somebody into something just so you can get what you want.
Regular chemistry isn't like high school chemistry, okay? There's no periodic table needed. It's really not that hard. So it's, to me, speaks to someone who hasn't done the work on themselves, which is tacky. You're tacky and I hate you.
True.
But and also I do really crave masculine energy. And it's actually in women also, like I'm attracted to women that are more masculine. And so for me in general, just as whatever person that I be dating, like that's what I like. And it's because I do want to be a little more delicate. Doesn't mean I'm going to ever wear pink because that's probably not going to happen. But like, yeah, I want to be able to chill out.
Yeah. What a concept.
What a concept.
Tell me about this 20-year-old. Are you in your Puma era?
Oh, God, we have to discuss. Someone called me a Puma the other day and I was like, is that what it is?
It is because you're not quite old enough to be a cougar. I found that out.
It's like not yet a girl, not yet a woman, but it's
not yet a cougar.
You're a Puma, bitch.
You're a Puma.
Okay, so go out on Saturday night. Should have stayed home based on the horrific hangover I had all day and Sunday. However, I did watch 8 hours of Sex and the City. So I was like, fine, we're healing. And I see this guy and he's so handsome. And he's like with this group of people. And I was just like, who is that? And then by the way, this was a true test because I rolled out of couch to go out. I did not put any makeup on, put my hair back because I didn't care. And I was like, you know what? More power to us. I think, was it you and I that went to dinner recently, like didn't put any makeup? We just didn't care. We're like, let's just go eat in the world or whatever.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm just going to go out. So I looked not great. And so this guy starts chatting with me. And then as we were going into this dive bar before it closed down and we went to the afters, I saw his license and his birthday. And I was like,
so 2000?
No, thank God. No, he was 26.
Okay.
I know. We feel differently about this though. And I was like, does that say 1998? And I was like, first of all, is this real? I need to make sure, like, let me hold that light up with the bouncer. So he's 26. And so I was immediately like, no, which is what I do to everyone who's below the age of 30. Cause I'm just like, not interested, closed for business, whatever. So the night goes on and we went to this like big party before we went to this afters. And we were like dancing together and having an entire life conversation. I mean, we were a little tipsy. And then we just started making out. And I was like, okay, well, this is fun. Great kisser, 10 out of 10. And he was super cute. And then he was like, well, let me take you to dinner this week. And I was like, where? What children's restaurant are you going to use the kids menu? Yeah, is your mom going to drive you? And I am going out with him this week. So here's the thing. I always say this, that I'm in a different place about dating, but I'm just like, it used to be this whole stipulation of how serious is it going to be? Are we on the same level? Where I'm like open to whatever feels good and is fun and who knows. And
that's a great place to be.
He seems lovely enough, but you've been on your 20-something journey.
Yeah, and I'm kind of out of it now.
Are you just like rubbing off of me and then like transferring the torch? Like what? Yeah. Why are you out of it now?
I don't know. Maybe I'll go back to it, but I don't know. I mean, I'm not really dating I'm not even like, I'm very just doing my thing right now. Not on purpose. I'm still open to it, but it's just like, I need someone to really like blow my socks off. I think I just was like out there so much and just was like, yeah, that at this point I'm kind of like just dialing it back a little bit.
Oh, you were outside like you were on patrol.
Yeah, I think I just like want to be like a little more protective of my peace and energy and time. Who knows? Maybe it's just like I'm going through like a thing right now.
Which is fine. You just have to hold space for where you are. I have seen you at a bar meet a 25-year-old and I looked at you and you're having a conversation and I ordered a drink and by the time I looked back, you guys were making out. So like, I do think there's also something very fun about a drunk makeout that's just like a delight. Can't recommend enough. I'm like a fucking fly strip right now for people born in the late 1990s. So that was some silly goose behavior, but I'm not mad at it.
I'm here for you in this like Puma era.
And also my roster's clear. I quit the dating apps and I just am in a really don't care. There's so many other things in my life that I am focusing on that it's just like, I really don't care. Whatever happens, happens. And we'll see what happens on this date.
You never know. Allow yourself to be surprised.
Yeah.
I think that's the fun of it all. Not like dating for like sport and being on the apps and like really like making that kind of concentrated effort, because just that can be so, I feel like, daunting and disappointing.
Draining. And also, I think that a lot of people are on the apps when they shouldn't be. At times when it's not coming from a good place, from a healed place, it's coming from, it's a tense place filled with fear of like being alone. And sometimes you have to sit with fears. So if your worst fear is that you die alone, yeah, not pleasant, not a great thought, but sit with that. So like, yeah, what if that happens?
When you're on a dating app, you're presented with all these options. You know, you just have like options. When you go out in the world, you have to make choices and decisions to like connect with a person. And I feel like that's way more intentional than just like going like this, swiping, sending messages. It just feels, it's so lazy and again, with no intention behind it. And I'm not saying like out in the world, like people can't be lazy and lacking in the intention, but I feel like on an app, it's just, it's so blatant that I'm like, I don't want to participate in that.
Mm-mm.
If you want to talk to me, you're going to have to come up and introduce yourself.
Actually, I've had a couple experiences lately where I've met people in the world and I always like, oh, that's not going to happen. That's why you have to do the apps, whatever. And it's been happening, but they're all so young. And I'm like, perhaps I'm just hanging out in young spaces and I need to be more of a grown up, but I don't care. Perhaps I need to stick a Post-it on my forehead and say, were you born after the year of 1993? Please look the other way. Disclaimer
out there.
Don't talk to me because I will make out with you.
Oh, kiss me on the mouth.
Oh, God.
Were you born after 95? Come and kiss me on the mouth.
Open for business, open for makeout session. Don't ask me out afterward. Goodbye.
Or you never know.
I know. I'm being fair. And oh my God.
Listen, they can be just as the ones that are your age, older, whatever, better on paper, can be lacking in maturity in so many other ways.
I've dated men that were 15 years older than me that emotionally hadn't even been born
Not
yet.
looking for anything serious. Sir, you have a full head of gray hair. What are you talking about? You're out here doing it for the plot, if anything, spicing up your life. Have you ever done, okay, besides making out with 20-something-year-olds, have you ever found yourself in a situation where you're like, didn't see this happening, but I'm going to go with it just for the plot?
This Sunday, when I was getting home at 7 a.m., what was I doing there? go home. The sun is coming up.
But you were like, I'm gonna go. Like you didn't think you were gonna go out, but you just did it for the plot. And now you got stories to tell.
I got stories, but yeah, that was definitely a for the plot moment. I was like, fuck it. I'm literally was about to go to bed, and then I was just like, just go out and see where the night takes me. And it took me all kinds of good places that made me feel bad the next day because I drank too much. But yeah, I'm always doing shit for the plot. Aren't you doing shit for the plot?
Yeah. Well, whenever I find myself, I'm like, okay, well, this is surprising, but like, let's see where this goes. I want to know how the story ends. I have a story from the past. Well, after we talked about like the Bill Nyes and Larry Davis and all that, I have a story about it.
Okay.
Someone that's on my list too is Crispin Glover.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But my for the plot thing is how I accidentally ended up on a date with him once. This was like back in, I don't know, like 2006 maybe.
How does one accidentally end up on a date?
Exactly. So where I'm from in Park City, the Sundance Film Festival that happens there, for like several years in a row, I worked at Gifting Lounge that they're like all around town, and they're like these like, celebrities go into them and they get gifted all kinds of swag. And I worked at one that was like pretty popular. Like a lot of like the big celebs came in. And so I met a lot of like really cool people. And like my job was just basically to like greet people when they came in and kind of like walk them around and introduce them to like the different, brand reps that we had there. And so he came in, he had a film at the festival that year, and he was really nice. While he was in there, like the duration, like when I kept coming around, he kept exchange pleasant, I don't know, just say stuff to me. And then he's like, well, do you have plans later? Like, do you want to come see the screening of my movie? And I was like, oh, I don't think I'm doing anything later. Like, that's cool thing. It was the weirdest movie I've ever seen. I remember the snails.
Snails?
It was so strange, Dayna. It's at a theater that my brother like used to manage this movie theater. Like, it was a theater that I went to like my whole life. So I was like, okay, great. It's not far from like where I live. I feel safe going. Like, it was fine. It was familiar. So I show up. I see him. He's like, oh, great, you're here. He's like, well, let's go grab our seats. And I'm like, I thought he was just going to put me on a list and I was going to go show up, watch the movie, bounce. Like, maybe I would see him. I don't know. But like, oh no. I was there like to go watch the movie with him. He invited me
to be his plus one, basically.
Basically. So we go sit and I'm sitting next to him watching this movie that I am like, what the fuck is happening in front of me? But I can't like react like that way. I have to like try to follow along, try to understand what this movie is about. No clue. And it's a full length movie. It's not a short. It's like an hour plus movie.
You're like, I love snails.
Oh my God,
snails are my favorite.
Great. It's dark. It's twisted. It's strange. I mean, it's Crispin Glover. What are we expecting? So then afterwards, he's like, well, do you want to go next door and like have tea? So yeah, we go next door and we like have tea. And he's like really like nice and kind and is like asking questions about just like my life and like my family. And like I grew up in Park City, so we're talking about that and just like had just like a very normal kind of like conversation. I was like, okay, so this was like a date, basically.
Did he get your digits?
I can't remember. I think I had given my number to him like earlier that day. So like I think there was some like correspondence maybe, but and I don't think we talked again after that.
Do you guys hook up?
No. That's, I mean, like, I think there's a lot of people talk about him like him being this strange dude, because he definitely does. I mean, he's done some like weird stuff on like talk shows in the past, and like just, people are always like very curious about him because he's just interesting. But like my experience with him was just kind of like him being just a guy. I don't know. For the plot.
Me and my friend used to call it doing before it was called the plot, because we just get a wild hair and be frisky. And this is from a long time ago, but I mean, I have so many of these stories. I have lived. This was my first time in Vegas, but I mean, to be fair, I think I was 21 or 22. And you went out, and I mean, who hasn't hooked up with a promoter? Probably lots of people. We've all been there.
Oh, yeah.
But I met this very handsome, and he was fine, like 10 out of 10. Met this promoter. I was out. The first night he tried to get me to like come back to his house. I was just talking to Leia about this. I am overly paranoid. Like, Dateline was my nickname in high school. I can pretty much tie any scenario to a Dateline episode I've seen. I was watching that shit when I was 10, when I had no business. I was watching CSI. I was watching the news. My parents, no, bad idea. It was not good for me. So the first night I like wouldn't go home with him, and he like lived off the strip, and he came all the way back. And then I was like, no, I'm with my friends. And he was like, hey, tomorrow night this is happening. So he came out with us, and he like got us on stage with some DJ and having a bunch of fun. And then we made out, that's where I lose my way. And it was really good kissing. And then I did end up going back to his place, and I was like, there is a 50-50 chance that I'm going to be murdered. But I wasn't murdered, and we did hook up, and it was fantastic. And then my friends were blowing me up in the morning because we were leaving that morning. And I got back to my hotel like 45 minutes before I had to pack and get on the plane.
Wow.
And I did, and I have no regrets. That was for the plot moment. And I'm not a casual sex person, not because I'm above it, because it's just usually not good. And that was one of my few one night stands in my life, and it was a delight.
I think everyone, you gotta get some one night stands in your life, but like proper, not just like I slept with someone on the first night. No, like where like you meet someone, you have sex with them, and then you never see them again.
Oh, and then I guess another Vegas, one of the times I have, not to name drop, but briefly met Justin Bieber. My next Vegas trip.
Did you have a one night stand with Justin Bieber?
I didn't. I did not.
It'd be a lot cooler if you did.
God, I know. He, this guy came up to one of my friends. He's like, she's so beautiful. Like, again, 10 out of 10. So he was like, do you guys want to go to a after party at Justin Bieber's? And I was like, you guys,
yes.
They are lying. I was like, get ready to take a shoe off and smack him with a heel. Cause I was so convinced. I was like, who is going to just take us to Justin Bieber's? Like, that's not happening.
That's what they do though.
Then we got to a suite. They checked our IDs. They took our phones. They took everything. And I was like, this is where the kidnapping happens. And then we walk in, and then there's an open bar, and we were broke. We were like 23, 24. We're like, good enough for me. Ran up. And then all of a sudden I see him like scurry like a mouse, like kind of across the room a couple times. And he was wearing shades and a fedora and like a lady's see-through mesh caftan or something. Like it was a strange outfit. And I mean, he didn't really interact with us. I'm sure it was more for his friends. Like he stepped on my friend's foot at one point, and she was like, ow. And he was like, oh, sorry. And then there was a hot tub in the room. I went home because I was exhausted. A couple of my friends stayed and they got in the hot tub, and Khloe Kardashian and Kylie Jenner showed up. But this was years and years ago.
Okay.
And they did not like my friends, and like, who are these thirsty bitches? But I don't know, again, for the plot, perhaps I should stop going to Vegas.
No, never. We should go to Vegas.
Immediately.
This is making me want to go to Vegas.
I mean, we're going on a trip soon. We just booked our first trip of the year.
I know. I don't want to tell them.
I don't want to tell him either. Let's tell him after.
Okay.
Because I'm pretty excited about it.
Yeah.
That's for the plot
moment. I'm not going to reveal that right now.
Okay. That's a secret trip. TBD. It is very funny. And how it came up is funny. So, well, this is a quick anecdote, or we could pick another one. But like, the McRib is the villain of fast food. And I don't know why it has this reputation. I am such a proponent of the McRib. I always get excited when it's McRib season. And
well, you just said it was the villain, and now
it is the villain, but I'm attracted to toxic men. So obviously I'm attracted to toxic food.
So you eat the McRib?
Absolutely. Was vegetarian for a few years. I have started eating a little bit of meat.
You have?
I have been doing that lately. Kind of came up out of necessity. I was going through a breakup, and when I'm sad or anything, I literally cannot eat. When? That was the end of the summer.
Is the McRib meat?
No, but I mean,
what is it?
I don't know. No one knows, and I don't want to know.
Okay, I feel like the McRib is one of those things. Okay, I remember when it came out, like back in like the 90s, especially around like, remember when the Flintstones movie came out? I remember I always associate it with that time. I don't know why. And like McDonald's did a big like promo thing, and I remember getting like, you know, when McDonald's had like really cool like sort of things that you could buy there, like I remember getting like a Flintstones glass. Anyways, but the McRib back then, I remember in the last couple of years, sometimes when they did another release of the McRib, I tried it again. And it was one of those things that I was like, I remember this being way better.
To be fair, I haven't had one in years, but it's a hockey puck. All I'm saying is when McRib season comes around, I'm going to try it and circle back. If you take down to the dome a Costco hot dog and you think you're better than a McRib, that's crazy. We'll see.
If the McRib actually tasted good, I would have no problem with it. That thing was it was inedible.
My friends were pretty horrified of me when I used to be like, oh, McRib is.
Do you eat fish fillets?
Yeah.
I don't like those either.
Okay. I always turn my nose up at fish fillets, but then I was vegetarian and then pescatarian, so I ate fish. And so also out of necessity, there wasn't really anything else on the menu. and I had my first fish fillet in Rome, and it was one of the best things I have ever experienced. So yeah, I'm not better than a fish fillet. And that here, I will say they're grosser than they were in Rome. In Rome, they're like probably actual fish.
I'm not trying to be snotty. I'm just saying if it's good, I'm not going to hate on it. Like Big Macs are delicious. McRibs are not. Costco hot dogs are delicious. Fish fillets are not.
I might go back to not eating meat, and I need to get a Costco hot dog in before that happens, because my God, do you put onions on it? You know, those little minced onions?
You know, sometimes. Depends on my mood. I'm not a relish snob, but sometimes all relishes are not equal. So it just depends. I got to know if I can trust it or not. Otherwise, I'm just going to stick to like ketchup and mustard.
I think it's Heinz relish at Costco. Do you like that?
Yeah. Heinz is good.
Yeah.
But sometimes they have this off-brand or random brand of relish, and I'm like, it's shocking. Have you ever put barbecue sauce on a hot dog?
No, but I've put
underrated. You put what? Cream
cheese?
Cream.
In college, there was this like late night stand that they did grilled onions and then cream cheese. I'm sorry, it was one of the best things I've ever eaten.
I'm not against it. I'm just trying to taste.
I'm finding it.
I'm trying to like imagine what that's gonna taste like.
I saw something on TikTok recently, obviously, because it's all I do. Someone was talking about they can't picture things in their mind when they try to imagine something. They don't see it in pictures. And then there was this scale of like 5 apples, the last one being a really realistic actual apple, and the first one, like you can't imagine it. When you think of things, do you see the full picture? Like, can you look at it? Were they trolling me? I can.
They don't see things in pictures?
Yeah. Like, can you right now imagine a completely realistic apple?
Yes.
Maybe they were lying to me.
No, I think that's a real actual thing.
I'd be interested to know if people at home if that blows their mind. Because the girl who had stitched it was like, I cannot imagine things in a realistic way.
That is so terrible.
Terrible.
Okay, I want to talk now, because now we're talking about this. We got to bring it up. Is the synesthesia. Synesthesia is like kind of feeling all the senses or connecting senses or something. So like we're essentially people who will hear a song and think of a color. They're associating numbers to colors or colors to songs or feelings or names.
Do you do that?
Yeah, do you not?
No.
Really?
I never thought of my entire life.
So if someone says 6 times 7 is the flavor lemon lime,
I would say, have you had any kava root drink today?
Okay, so that's like a real thing. Or people will say like Thursday is November.
There's Thursdays in November.
No, Thursday is November.
No.
Purple is octopus and October.
Octopus, October. Purple? No. Absolutely not. I would think black, if anything, because they ink. And they're so cute.
Z is electricity.
Okay, that makes sense to me but
right. Triangle is 12. That makes a lot of sense.
No.
Yes.
No.
I think so.
Why would triangle be 12?
It just makes sense.
I guess the girls who get it, and those who don't, because that sounds
November, Thursday, and 7 are all the same.
No.
Yeah. So it says 7 times 7 is so Thursday. It is.
I think that's 49, but I don't think that's Thursday. Also, I did really poorly in math my entire high school, collegiate, elementary school career.
No, but it has nothing to do with math. It's just associating certain like numbers or colors or, you know, I don't know. It's just I think it's just really, to me, it's interesting and it always makes sense.
Did you know what this was before you knew the word for it? Like, have you done this forever?
I didn't know that like this was like the name for it, but it's the same thing when we used to like assign our like color notebooks to subjects, right? Like what color did you use for like math?
Oh, well, I told you I didn't do well in math, so I probably never looked at my notebook. But if I did, I don't know. I feel like I see like an aquamarine, like a tealish, tealish green.
There was blue, red, green, yellow.
We're gonna put it in blue.
Math in blue.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
What is math to you?
Okay, I don't know. I'm just asking you. Okay. Science. What was science?
Green.
Okay.
It's chemicals.
Okay, that's good. English was always like a blue, or like a, you know, like an English or language class was always like a blue. Math was always red. Science or like biology was always like a green or even like a yellow, just depending on how many subjects I had.
Did you used to pimp out your textbooks with those like covers? Do you remember that?
We used to just turn a paper grocery bag into
a paper bag. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And then we would color on them or something.
We think we just stunt on everyone so hard with your new Textbook cover, unhinged behavior.
No, I was like when we had like the binders and they had the clear plastic. And so you'd make a whole collage from like clippings from like the magazines and pictures of your friends. And then like you do like a new one every, you know, month or something like that. And you show up and you'd be like, you made my binder.
I mean, that was like early manifesting. I remember cutting out like from 17 magazine, like specific words that were in it that I liked.
We didn't even know we were mood boarding back
No.
then. Vision board. What?
I mean,
Pinterest? Who is she?
maybe it's why I was so dysfunctional in my 20s, like as far as just predicting the future, but who knows?
Yeah, mine was like all the nail polishes and boy band. What was I manifesting? Delusion.
A mess. Delulu Island.
Anyways.
I love Delulu Island.
Anyways, we have what's it called? WWDD.
WWDD.
Why is it so hard? WWDD.
Teresa says, "Hi ladies, greetings from Wisconsin. Here's my question. How do you prefer to be hit on? Does it matter or change if it's a man or a woman doing the hitting? I'm asking because I am a bisexual woman myself and I find it difficult to show interest in women being more than a friend. Hope to hear an answer. Love you ladies."
Oh,
I love when they compliment us. Deeply obsessed.
okay. How do you like to be hit on?
It kind of goes back to what we were saying earlier, just because I like masculine energy and I'm so in charge of my own life. I like someone who will be bold. I like someone who will come up to me and say hi. I like someone who will ask me out. But I think it's per situation. For me, it really doesn't matter if it's a man or a woman because I like that masculine energy. So I want someone who's going to make the first move. And it's not that there haven't been scenarios in which I have made a move, but like 90% of the time, I like them to hit on me.
I'm pretty much the same. I like when people are just like very direct.
Mm-hmm. I wish I had more context for how she likes to be hit on, because if she's saying that she has discomfort with women, perhaps she hasn't dated women as much. So I totally understand that when you, sometimes it can be different than women. So for me, it's like, obviously there's signals or friction or whatever when you can tell you like someone. So it might be something that you need to ease into. And if you are typically more comfortable with men, perhaps spend more time in queer spaces or, you know, expanding your network to see if you find that same thing in a woman hitting on you.
Yeah, because you might not know their preference if you're just in like a bar where like you're not going to know if someone is going to be like open to that.
It's hard when you're at a straight bar. I mean, I have definitely ended up by the end of the night making out with some lovely ladies, and I've gone on dates with them and seen them after, but it's like there's like this build up to it, which is also sometimes kind of fun because I'm like, are they hitting on me right now?
Am I? Or are you?
And then I have red lipstick smeared all over my face. So yeah, maybe expand your network as far as where you're spending time.
And I mean, I think just like an approach too is like, I mean, everyone likes a compliment, but make it like very specific.
Mm-hmm.
Don't just be like, hey, I think you're like really cute, or I think you're like, find something on like what they're wearing, or
originality.
Yeah, try to be original that you've like, you know, actually noticed or picked out something about them. The conversation starter, even, if you will. I really like your jacket. Where's it from?
Well, this is Levi's, but
you know,
you weren't specific.
But something, but like, I think that always helps.
Yeah. And I think the more you get to know yourself, whether it is a man or a woman, you'll know what you like. So it's just like, you know, everyone, you're asking, how do you like being hit on? But it's really different for everyone. So figure what you like, spend time maybe in new places, and allow that to happen.
Eye contact is really helpful too.
And eye contact, sometimes I'm not even good at that. You have to hold like a 3-minute eye contact.
3 minutes.
Or three, not.
Because you. It's for 3 minutes.
No, like a solid 3 seconds. Eye contact is a great way to start. If you prefer to be hit on, make eye contact. It's really easy when you think someone's cute to like look down because it makes you a little nervous.
Yeah, but it helps them know that you're approachable and you want to be approached, especially by them. Make sure you do it for 3 whole minutes first.
If someone stares at you for 3 minutes, I'm fucking scared. It's like Samara from The Ring.
No, Samara from The Ring. You can't even see her face. No, it's giving.
If you aren't watching this, I'm literally tearing up right now. That is so funny. Imagine just like, sorry, come on.
From across the room, just staring.
Next.
Okay. My name is Kaylin, and I'm 33 and perpetually single. Most days, I'm perfectly happy with that, but I am at a point where I'd like to find a partner. However, I'm really struggling with being deeply affected by rejection in dating, even from guys on the apps who I've never actually met. Tips for pushing through those feelings of rejection. Well, what do we say? Like rejection is just redirection. I think that's whatever. But I think you gotta be content with the fact that like you just haven't met the right one. And I know that's like you probably heard that from so many people, but it's like I think it's like a blessing. That's just like the universe saying, be thankful that it hasn't worked out with any of these people, because it wouldn't have been the right thing for you. It probably would have ended, or would have been a waste of time, or drained you, or left you in a worse place than you think that you are right now. You're not in a bad place. I think this is a great time for you to just really embrace being the person that you are, like really kind of understand and know who you are, know what you want, and not just be waiting for that next person to come along or wondering where they are. I feel like that's just not the best use of time.
And it's hard when you're not at the finish line, because if you haven't met your person or who you feel is your person, like there's this saying, if you knew you were going to meet your person on this day,
how would you spend your
Thursday
time?
the 7th, which is apparently 7, we don't know. Then how would you spend your time? You'd be able to wait, and you'd be able to wait without anxiety. So I think it's okay to feel hurt with rejection. Sometimes I have a first date. It's one day, you don't know this person. You have to remember it's not about you. So like when it doesn't go your way, it stings. And even sometimes when I get blown off by someone I don't even like, it's like, that's not fair. I didn't like you. So I think how you handle that is just be realistic about it. Like just know, yeah, it's going to sting, but try hard to not dwell on it. Allow it to suck for a minute, dust yourself off, and then try again, which is an Aaliyah song, I think. So I am quoting lyrics today. I think it's just there is a level of that with dating, but you're never going to get anywhere if you don't put yourself out there, unfortunately.
I mean, I know. You try not to become jaded, but just trust the process and trust that like none of these things have worked out for a very good reason. One, having nothing to do with you, but because there's just something better out there that, you know, will come along when the time is right.
It's like that Steve Jobs speech I was talking about. He talks about how you can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only do it looking back. And I promise you something better is coming.
Mm-hmm. And again, like you said, like if you knew that you're going to meet this person on this date at this time and you could just like chill out until like, how would you be spending your time? Probably just doing things that make you happy and just enjoying life. So you should just be doing that.
Not that this person asked us for this advice, but that's so true. That also, I think, is the pathway to finding self-fulfillment.
Mm-hmm.
And also, you're not going to, I think it does happen, but it's the exception, not the rule, that if you aren't happy with yourself, it's very hard to find the person that is going to complement your life. So live your life as if your person is coming and you know the day.
I love that.
You'd probably be making out with 26-year-olds while you can. Andrea says, love the new show. It's a must listen, chef's kiss, no note situation, and I'm living for it. If you compliment us, we're going to pick you. We love you. Thank you. My question is, do you have any advice for maintaining lifelong girl friendships? I have a core group that I've been close with since childhood, but now that we're 40, I'm starting to become more introspective about my life and recognizing my own toxic habits. But as I become more aware, I'm starting to not like some of the people as much. I still love them, but I'm not sure I like them. I'm not doing my usual people-pleasing shit anymore, so it's creating conflicts at times. I want to help them grow too, but I know that's not my place. Any advice? We've also grown up in different directions, them with kids and families, and me single and happily independent. So that's another layer of complexity. Anything you've got for me, I will truly appreciate. Love you both. I have a lot to say on this one.
You do? Okay, go ahead.
I think that it's okay because I do have a lot of friends still from my very early life, and they are in very different places, right? With kids and families and whatnot. It is completely okay to have different seasons for different people in your life. Not all people are meant to be there permanently, or if they are, it's okay for your relationship to evolve and not be the same closeness you were when you were 16. Like, it's okay to become a different person and grow. And also, you cannot force growth in anyone. Whether it's a partner that you have, a friend that you have, yeah, sure, you can point things out. But if conflict is happening because you feel that you are growing and they are not, it's okay to evaluate if this person should still be in your life in a meaningful way.
Yeah, I think change is the one thing that you cannot help. It's always going to happen. It's inevitable. And you should not try to stop it or prevent it from happening, because that's where growth happens. And I think we all need to constantly be growing and evolving as people. And with that, also, like, it's going to affect our day-to-day, it's going to affect our relationships. And it should be affecting in a positive way and not a negative way. And I think you can see it from that angle. But sometimes we got to take stock and inventory of our lives and decide of which things bring us value and which things don't. And it's okay. You don't need to like completely rid your life, like you said, of people. I think there's different boxes that people can fit into. Like as your life changes and people kind of grow and are in different phases, they're having kids. You're just not going to be spending the kind of time you used to, and your interests in things are going to change. So I just think accepting that this is just course of life and it's no one's fault, but just be willing to be open and keep people in their life as long as they're still showing up, I think.
Yeah. And yeah, I'm not saying necessarily exile anyone, but also if you are growing, you want more space for different people that maybe are on the same trajectory as you too. So kind of putting yourself out there to meet new people.
Yeah, 100%.
I saw this little cartoon once and it was a caterpillar and then a butterfly, and the caterpillar was like, "You've changed." And the butterfly was like, "We're supposed to."
Yep.
So it's okay if someone wants to be a caterpillar, let them caterpillar. We'll be a butterfly.
Let them caterpillar. Like it. Okay. Oh, this is anonymous, but it's going to be a consistent pen pal. I'm banging my moving guy. I'm 35. He's 29. Love that.
You know he can lift things. You know he can hoist.
We only hang out about once a month for 5 months, but he's a great pen pal. Daily text. He lives about 30 minutes away by car, but for me it takes about 45 to 60 minutes by train. When I get snarky and ask to hang out more or hint at progressing our situation, he acts baffled by the question. I cut it off for a bit. He messaged me on Christmas, and at 12:08 on New Year's Eve, I was out. He claims he wasn't. Is he an attentive fuckboy with a roster or genuinely busy? Do I move on for good without his services? In parentheses. Well,
you're moving guy. There's a lot to unpack here. Get it?
There's a lot to unpack here. Okay, well, I think you already kind of know the answer to this one. It seems that his behavior and his patterns and inconsistency would, it's painting a pretty clear picture. He's not really making any kind of effort to progress the relationship, and you bringing it up and he's acting like this is like an insane concept just says it right there. And I know it's like, you're like, well, I do enjoy him and we do have a good time. So it's like, if you're not willing just to like kind of participate in it just as that and not fantasize about what it could be, or could it be more, or should it be more, then yeah, you should pack it in and
get that U-Haul, babe. There's other moving companies.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like he's geographically undesirable as well. Not that like distance can be anything, but it's like, if he's not going to, I don't know.
I mean, I don't even like to date anyone that lives in like Santa Monica. So I get that. It can be a challenge. I also think you have to only participate in things that make you feel good. So like you said, if you're having fun and it's great and you're able to compartmentalize the two, then sure, knock yourself out. But the second it starts feeling good, or you're having to ask yourself these questions, you usually know the answer, but you just don't want to admit it. Like the best D on planet Earth is not worth the bad feelings that follow it if you're having to question this. So yeah, it's the bare minimum. Just because someone's texting you, it's really easy to text. So I don't think that should be in the bucket of you're doing the most.
And sending a message on Christmas, people text everyone in their contact list on Christmas, and sending a message at 12:08 on New Year's Eve, I'm like, oh, Lord have mercy.
Yeah. And also, does this person have a roster?
Probably. Yeah. An attentive fuckboy. I mean, that's just like what they do. They keep people on the hook and, move people up and down the list. And if you're fine with that and you got your own roster going and you get to him when you get to him, then so be it. But it sounds like you have caught a little bit of feelings. You like it to be more. He's not really on that same page. So yeah, I would say move on for good.
Yeah, I agree. I once had a moving guy hit on me. Felt a little weird because he knew where I lived and he was odd, and he asked me if I wanted to go on his boat, and it was like, I don't know you. Of course I'm not going on a boat with you alone in the middle of water, and like not like a canoe, I imagine, but wasn't great.
A canoe.
Oh, this one's also anonymous, which usually excites me because like we're hoping it's salacious. A woman's Roman empire, weight, body image. I'm sure you both have seen TikToks about women's Roman empire being your weight and body image. Do you guys feel the same? I think about the food I'm consuming on the daily, as well as my body image, calorie intake, working out, literally everything revolving around my image. Do you have advice on how to not give a fuck? Both of you seem like such confident, strong women who are comfortable in your own bodies. I want to be confident in my body, but it's hard to not give a fuck about the number on the scale. I also want to tell the media to disrespectfully fuck off about women's weight gain or weight loss being headline news. Oh my God. I mean,
yeah.
I think for so many women, I mean, we've also kind of touched on this before, it's ingrained in us, like because of the media, because of unrealistic expectations, it's kind of by osmosis. I think way too much about it. And I do have a hard time, even when I'm like thin, I get a complex and like, I try more to focus on, do I feel good or not, than the number on the scale. And also trying to remember how much our bodies do for us. And I think I've said before, we're in our bodies for such a short amount of time. So just imagine the time we do waste fixating on it. So I don't know if there's any cure-all solution to this. I think it's just do your best.
There's not, because no matter how much you try to ignore it, or it's going to be there. We know it's there. We know it's been there for a long time, whether, we saw it in, on TV and magazines, we saw our moms dieting growing up. It is ingrained in us. So I think trying to remind ourselves that that's not all there is to life, and that we should enjoy the things that make us happy. And because, food tastes good. Like, we should enjoy those things and not be concerned. Don't keep a scale in your house.
Totally.
Start there. Change your visual diet. Don't follow Instagram accounts that hyperfixate on those types of things. Just get rid of it. Whenever you scroll and you start to see things that don't make you feel good, hit unfollow, or there's a tab to say like, I don't want to see things like this anymore. Like, you can literally change those types of things so you're not constantly at least like scrolling past and like intaking it that way. And then just trying not to assign any kind of value to food. Like, these are bad foods, these are good foods. So these are, just saying like, food is food.
Also, do you know what weirds me out? Those videos that are like celebrities, like what I eat in a day.
What I eat, but those are the type of things that I don't see those anymore, because I don't interact. I say like, these are things I don't want to see anymore, because they will trigger me, because someone that's like had like disordered eating for many years and
completely
things like that.
disordered eating.
I can't.
Mm-mm.
But I have to like not see those kind of things, because they will creep into my psyche and make me like start thinking about like, well, what do I eat in a day? I don't want to think about what I eat in a day. I eat.
That's not my business.
What I feel like eating.
I just had cookies for breakfast. Whatever.
Same. Because there's no bad food. There's just, we know that we can't have cookies every day for breakfast. I know that I can't, but like, I'm not going to sit there and say that cookies are bad. No, cookies are great.
I love cookies. I'd be curious, did your parents talk negatively about their body image growing up?
Not like negatively, but like, my mom was like Jenny Craig growing up. Like, I looked at the Snackwell's food. I looked at diet food all day long in my, pantry. And I looked at that as like something that you do to take care of your health, and not something that could potentially be like, oh.
Well, we were like Jenny Craig household and all of that too. And my mom did all the time. Like, she talked negatively about her body image and herself. And so I think another thing we can do for future generations is set a good example and not be doing that. And also, if you feel down bad physically, emotionally, or whatever, literally stand in front of a mirror and say, you're beautiful. I love you. Give yourself affirmations. It works. Like, you speak things into reality. So if you say all the time, I look like shit, commenting on your body in a negative way, knock that off, please.
Yeah. Even when I really was like at my downest and like really like, as far as body image goes, like I had to like look at the things that I did like the most about myself, or I really thought was like, I really love my hair. And if that was the only thing I could really enjoy about myself that day, then I would just talk about how much I love my hair. And right. But just having positive self-talk, even if it's just the one thing a day, next thing you know, there's two things. And before you know it, you think you're the shit. Like, everyone's annoyed by you.
Do you remember when my ex-boyfriend made me download that app called Fat Tracker?
Oh my God. Yeah.
So this kind of goes with not consuming things online that don't make you feel good. I had an ex-boyfriend. Yeah, he had an 8-pack, whatever. but he like weighed his rice and was like considered like mango dessert, which like mango sticky rice can be a dessert, but like that's the way that he was. And over time, and I was pretty thin at that time, and he was like slowly was saying things because at the time I wasn't eating meat, and he was like, well, you eat a lot more carbs than I do because you only eat vegetables. Yeah, I also love bread, I love pasta, whatever, but I was also eating like sweet potatoes and things that are healthy for you. And then he started like making all these comments, and he's like, well, how many calories do you eat a day? Like you don't keep track of that. And I had never really paid attention. I just tried to have a balanced diet of just like not disordered eating. And then he told me to download an app called Fat Tracker, which why is it called that? Shame on me. I downloaded it and started using it, and it was a calorie counter. And then it became this obsessive thing, and you will drive yourself insane. So also, please do not spend time with anyone that makes you feel bad about yourself or gives you a complex. Thanks.
I could not imagine at this point in my life wasting an ounce of time.
Oh my God. Well, this was a few years ago, but still, I'm like,
no, I think, no, thank God. But like, ugh. How, like, no offense to like people. I mean, I know there's people that like, they are like their livelihood is fitness, and they, like, and to them, it's like, it comes like natural, and they're like all about that lifestyle. But like for the regular person who's not trying to make that their life and livelihood, you do not need to be weighing your food.
No,
you're not in a bodybuilding competition. You're not trying, so for you that doesn't understand like what that is all about, it could actually be really dangerous. So don't
do that. Anyway, don't download Fat Tracker. That's crazy.
Okay. Is this last one? Also anonymous. Okay. I'm 28, female, and in a marriage heading for divorce. I'm not ready for my life to completely change. Have to sell my house, etc. Katie, how did you handle going through this process? It feels so scary to make the jump. Any advice to just going for it? Advice for coping? I mean, yeah, it's definitely scary because your life as you knew it and the future that you were hoping for, committed to, planning towards is all changed. It's done as you know it, but I don't think that it needs to be as scary as you think it is. I mean, I was definitely devastated over having to sell our house. Once you like kind of get past like, okay, like the marriage is done and this is, you mourn all that and you have all those sad feelings. And then you think about like your home, it's a lot to process. But I think once you come to terms with it and you can try to get excited and look forward to like a new space that you can make all your own and it's fresh and it starts to become exciting. It does. I just think it takes time and you need to allow yourself to feel all those feelings and not brush anything under the rug. But I think starting over and having that sort of uncertainty about like the rest of your life and anything can happen, it does start to get exciting. It is very like new and scary, but it's also just like, I don't know.
Liberating?
It 100% is liberating. I think that was like the saddest part for a long time was just like everything's upended and now I have to start over and like this is insane and what do I even do? That transition it seemed impossible. But then once I kind of sat with it and considered what could be on the other side of things, like it became like such a gift and became so just exciting. That's all I can say.
Well, I've never been through a divorce, but I'd like to point out this person is 28. Yeah, you are so young. I think the only real failure there is to stay in something that doesn't make you happy. And like, and also at any age really, but 28 is so young. And again, never been divorced, but I have had a lot of people close to me get divorced or currently getting divorced. And it's like, feel the feelings, let it be scary because it is, but what are you gaining by freeing yourself of something that
the rest of your life, happiness, it's just, I think you're going to look back in a year and I'm 2 years now post like separation, and it's crazy how much has changed and how different I feel. And I just like, I'm excited for this person because as much as it sucks right now, it's going to be good.
We're rooting for you. Okay. Also, again, you guys, everyone has been keeping these shorter, which is amazing. Please keep sending us problems, questions, comments, concerns, disrespectfullypod@gmail.com. What we didn't do, who's in your basement this week?
You go first.
I mean, both of us, something I love about us, we could always have so many people, but in general, the group of toxic people, I don't mean to generalize, it's mostly men who are obsessed about Taylor Swift going to games and all these conspiracies and whatever. Like, you have too much time on your hands. I'm not even a Swiftie. She's extremely talented, great song. I have nothing bad to say about her as a musician. It's just like not my thing. But like, why do you care? By the way, she's one of the most famous people on planet Earth. It's going to get attention. Who cares?
Yeah, no, it's actually insane that people have those kind of feelings about it.
Get in the basement, all of you.
Oh my God, that's a good one.
That's my basement this week.
Who's my basement? What happened this week? I feel like last week was like inanimate. It was like COVID. Now it's like again like this weather. Last night when I was driving through ponds and hitting like, because I was driving through a canyon, and from the canyon there's like rock slides. Like there was giant rocks hidden in these deep ass puddles and like branches, like full blown like trees like in the road. And like LA is just like not equipped to handle this kind of weather. And when it happens, like most people are like, oh, it rains here all the time. You guys don't. I'm like, when it rains here, it's different.
Like I get you guys are blizzarding half the country, whatever, but like it is different.
It's the roads
here
cannot
crazy. We don't have the infrastructure.
Thank you. The infrastructure is not set up to handle rain. Like there's no draining system that can happen. So the water just accumulates on the highways, on the roads, and it gets really, really bad. So
you're telling me your basement is flooded this week?
My basement's flooded.
Well, it's just so nice to look at you in the same room.
I know.
I love it.
I do too. All right. Well,
okay. I guess that's all we have this week.
Yeah. Until next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Babe, you're going to see the power of women. Like,
Disrespectfully.